Hello, guys. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today, enjoying the quite nice day outside. It's not so cold, but anyway, it's nice to see you all here, guys. If today I keep moving my head because I'm using my camera is here, but my screen is here, so it's a bit messy here today. So if you guys see shaking my hand, please forgive me. I'm just gonna check here if everyone is enjoying is hearing properly. Okay, we have here. Okay. Can anyone say anything to me just to see how is our sound? How is everything? I believe the sound is okay because I'm using this mic. Okay. I have two computers in front of me, actually three screens, so it's a bit messy. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'm going to start here. So again, it's nice to see you all here. Let me just check here on my phone if it's working properly. Can you hear me, guys? Uh, okay, I can see you guys can hear. So I'm going to start, guys, as usual, with our initial prayer. Okay, so if everything is good, so thanks everyone. So for those who feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close our eyes. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's fine. You can keep them open as you please. So I would like to thank this opportunity to be here on another Sunday talking about Spiritism in Ireland. I'd like to ask guidance and support for the mentors of the group who have been supporting us in Dublin for over 10 years. I'd like to ask help from a personal mentor to inspire me to only talk about Spiritism and the teachings of Allan Kardec and our Master Jesus. May this speech be fruitful and joyful to each one of us. May God support me, so be it. Thank God. Okay, guys, I can see here. So we have Robertinha saying good morning. We have Daniela. Good morning, Daniela. Samantha. Nice. We have Gisele. We have here Trisha. We have here Irani. Okay, guys. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here on this Sunday with us. So, today I'm going to be talking. Junior Xavier just said morning. Good morning, Junior. So, today, guys, we're going to be talking about one passage of the Gospel in Matthew, which, at least for me, is quite strong because it is an invitation uh, for us to rethink about our actions, what have you been doing, the decisions that we have been taking. So this parable is called here. I'm gonna share my screen. Just see. It's called the second mile. Okay. Let me put like this so you guys can see even better. So you guys don't need to see my face. Good morning, Cassian. So this parable says this parable, just to clarify, it's in the Sermon of the Mount. So it's just a short part where when Jesus is giving this sermon to us. But just this part itself, I believe, gives one entire speech of several hours, not only of 1 hour that we're going to be doing here today. And in the second parable, Jesus starts like this: if you and anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. So basically, here, we have to understand why Jesus is saying this, about if someone asks you to, you know, someone asks you basically to do something for you, if someone asks you to go and walk with them 1 mile, walks 2 miles with them. But in the other part of the gospel, I'm not sure if it's Luke, when it says that if someone asks you to give your coat, your jacket to them, not only give your jacket, but give everything. So it's the same parable, but saying different. But first, we have to understand the historical aspect of this parable. Why Jesus said that? More or less 63 before Christ, when Pompey, one of the great emperors of Rome, came to Rome, he created this new rule, which was if any Roman soldier was passing by, if that Roman soldier asks any Roman, any Jewish, any Jew, that could be a high priest, that could be a simple worker, that could be Jesus himself, because let's remember that when Jesus was alive, he was just a normal Jew among the Romans, for the Romans. So if any Roman soldier could be a general, could be the most simple soldier. If he was walking, he had his bag behind he had his backpack, or he had his gear. If he asked any Jewish, say, uh, you have to carry this stuff for me. That Jew must leave everything what he was doing and help that Roman soldier. And that for the Jewish people was something really, that was a confrontation to the traditions of the Jewish, especially if he was asking, let's say, a high priest. It's the same as if you are here nowadays. You are, let's say, here in Ireland, let's say, God forgive us, God forbid, but there is a war, and let's say an enemy comes to Dublin and asks, let's say, the Prime Minister, the Taoiseach, to go and do something for him, to carry his stuff, or to ask a really important person in the society, another politician, or to ask the commissioner of the Garda to carry his stuff. So it was a confrontation against the Jew, against the Jewish traditions. Okay, so that's why Jesus is giving this example. So Jesus is taking a simple example which really annoyed the Jewish people to bring to them a lesson, a new lesson to them. Okay, we have here our friend here, Rodolfo from Portugal. Really nice to see you, my friend. Camila also. Nice. And Cassia, as I said. So good morning, guys. Nice to see you guys here. So then understanding the historical aspect of it, what is the first mile then? And here we have um, an explanation here. Guys, I'm going to be saying here, you guys may read, but the first mile is the mile of the duty, of the obligation that we have. Where we, in the current situation that we are, in the current level that we are, we must do what is expected from us. Let's say, if you live in a society like here, if you live in Dublin, it's expected us to respect the laws. It's expected us to go, just a silly example, but to go on the Lewis and pay for that fee. Now, in the time of the coronavirus, it's expected us to stay at home as much as we can. Only stay away from our house in that 5 kilometers. Respect all the requirements which the government has given to us in order to keep more people safe. So the first mile is just our obligation. So this is expected to it's expected by from us in all regards. Could be in our life. Let's say if you are a father, what is expected from a father? To look after his children. If you are a mother, the same. If you are an older brother, perhaps to protect your younger brother. if you are an older sister, to help your young children, young siblings. So that's only what you have to do. And then before, we used to think that if I do only what is expected from me, that's fine. But then that was actually what was expected in the time of the Jewish, of Moses, before Jesus. So all the prophets, they always said, you have to do this. If you do what your obligation, if you see what the Torah, which is um, the spiritual book for the Jews, the Bible of the Jews, shall we say, there where they have their traditions. In the Torah, it has several laws, several things that all the Jewish people must follow in order to be a good Jewish. So we are talking about Jewish things here now because we are talking about the time of Jesus. But Jesus, another Jew, come and he brings something different. In Matthew 5:47, Jesus says to the apostles, if you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? If you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than the others? Do not do not even the pagans do that? So Jesus is saying to us, okay, you are following your duties, you are doing everything what your tradition, what your country, what your people around you expected from you. But that's it. He's asking us, he's making us reflect. Can we not do more, or should we not do more than that? Because if you only do what is expected from us, we got our reward already from the society, from the people that we are on us. But in order to get more, we must do more also, not only what is expected from us. And Jesus is saying, even the tax collector, so even the normal people of society, collector wasn't only a normal people, he was the one who was collecting the tax for the Roman Empire. So he wasn't someone who was really seen with good eyes by the Jewish people. But even then, they do what is being told. But you have to do more. So Jesus is creating, is giving this reflection to us for us to rethink our actions. And here we have here Patrocinio. Good morning, Patrocinio. Here uh, we have in the question 642 in the Spirit's book, Kardec again bringing. What I mean, Kardec is not Kardec himself only, is the spirits who are behind the codifications, and Jesus himself is behind the entire codification of Allan Kardec. So again, when society is a bit more ready to understand certain aspects, moral aspects, Jesus with through the spirits and Allan Kardec, all these workers all together. But Allan Kardec, he was a worker, of these great spirits who came to Earth to support, to bring the good news to Earth, to share, these new ideas to humanity. So Kardec asks, is it not enough to simply not do what is evil in order to please God, to ensure our future happiness? You see, this question of Kardec, it's a question of a man of his time, a clever man of his time, of course. But the time of Kardec in the 19th century, people had this, especially in Europe, but I'd say everywhere around the world, but let's concentrate mainly in Europe and in the Western world, South America, North America, this idea that we have to please God. We have to do things for God. But in fact, the Spirit's book explains to us that's not like this, because God's not a being who wants us to only do what he pleases him, but he has a moral set of laws that he wants humanity to follow if they want to, because we all have the free will to do it. But if we do, we're gonna suffer less. So we're gonna guarantee our happiness. Yeah, that's why he asked here to ensure our future happiness. And the spirits, because the question is from Allan Kardec, but the reply, guys, just to make sure for those who don't know, is not from Allan Kardec. That's a mistake which a lot of people they do. They believe the questions and replies from the spirits book is from Allan Kardec, and it's not. The questions he created, the replies are from the spirits, which were given to the mediums of the time, which were helping Kardec at the codification. And the Spirit says, no, we must do good to the we must do to the we must do good to the best of our abilities. Each of you will have to answer for all the evil that has resulted from the good that you have failed to do. So in the time of Jesus, people they believed that if they do only what they must do, they are okay. Jesus was challenged and Jesus was explained to them that's not enough. But people they didn't really listen to Jesus that time. So 19 centuries later, Kardec asks a question. The spirits give the same reply. No, we must do extra. We must do everything we can with our abilities. Because if let's say you are in a situation that you are dealing with someone and that person needed your help, and you say, I'm not going to do that today, or I don't want to do it, of course you can do it. It's your free will. Especially if that person hurted you in the past, or especially if you don't like that person. Most of us, what we do, we simply go there and say, I'm not going to do it because I don't like that person. And the spirit says, no, 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 no. You have to do as much as you can. You have to do all the thing you can. Because if you don't do it, in Andrea Luiz explains to us that we're gonna generate more karma. When I mean karma, I'm trying to say we're gonna generate, uh, let's put in a very simple way, bad points against us because we had the chance to help someone, but we didn't. Why we didn't? Perhaps maybe because we are selfish, or perhaps because we don't like that people, because of um, our beliefs, you know. So if we don't, we are getting points against us. So again, it's not only simply enough to do, you know, what is demanded from us. We must go further. Okay. Patricia is here. Good morning, Patricia. In the question 643, we have a really interesting point of Kardec. Kardec asks the spirits, are there individuals who are incapable of doing good? And sometimes we say to ourselves, I'm not going to do this because I cannot do anything. I cannot help that person because I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do anything because I'm not good enough. I don't know how to do it. We always say, we always give excuses to say, no, I'm not going to do it because, or, you can wait. We don't know how to do it. I'm too simple to help that person. I have too little knowledge to try to help that person. I have too little material thing to help that person. Doesn't matter, you name it. But most of the time, what we do, we create an excuse to say, I cannot help that person or I cannot help that situation. And the Spirit says, replies to Kardec, there is no one who cannot do some good. Only the selfish find no opportunity of doing so. The mere fact of being in contact with other human beings provides the opportunity of doing good every day of our lives for those who are not consumed by self interest. Doing good is not only restricted to give charity, but also includes being useful whenever you can, whenever your assist may be needed to the full extent of our power. So here, the spirits are bringing to us everyone can do something. So there is no way that you are in a situation and you say, I cannot help that person. Perhaps you cannot give the help which that person needs, but you can do other small things. For example, maybe you know someone who are in a hospital, you know, who has cancer, or maybe now in the COVID time that we are living, that person has COVID and you cannot see that person, then you say, I cannot do anything for that person. Yes, you can. You can pray for that person. You can send good thoughts. I'm not a religious person. I don't pray. That's fine. So send good thoughts to that person. Send good vibrations to that person. Once you are thinking about something good, try to include that person in your thoughts. Wish that that person really, but wish from your heart, because the spirit explains to us that's not only the merely idea of saying something or thinking about something. you know we have to wish or to think or to say that thing from our heart. So maybe you cannot go there and cure that person who has cancer or COVID-19, but you can send vibrations, you can pray. So you can do what is close to you, what is really like inside of your realms. So Kardec explains to us that if you are not selfish, you can do something. Joana de Angelis has this beautiful saying that she says, Joana de Angelis, who is the medium of Divaldo Pereira Franco, she says that only those who are selfish are lonely. Only those who are selfish are lonely. So she's saying to us that we live this time nowadays that everyone say, "Oh, I'm lonely. I feel this. I feel that." I'm not trying to diminish that feelings. Some people they are really lonely and they feel lonely. But Joana de Angelis brings this to us that once you are helping someone in any way we can, you are avoiding that kind of feeling growing inside yourself. Because once you are in contact with other people, you can do something. As it says here in the reply, it's not only about giving charity. So it's not only about giving money to someone or giving something material to someone. As I said, it's a prayer, it's a good thought. Maybe in a situation that you disagree with that person. What can you give to that person? Maybe the silence. Let that person throw away that anger. Even if you are correct, sometimes if you be quiet, if you be in silence and only listen to that person, you are doing charity to that person. Even that person doesn't know, or even if you don't know. A lot of times, you hear stories about Chico Xavier, and there was one time which a lady spitted in his Chico Xavier's face, and um, Chico Xavier was really annoyed, but Chico Xavier was quiet. But later on, he asked Emmanuel. He said, Emmanuel, come on, how come you told me to be quiet? Because Emmanuel told him to be quiet, because what she was doing wasn't correct. And Emmanuel said to Chico Xavier, Chico, you are correct. You have the right to feel the way you are feeling. But she was in need. And Chico was thinking, she understood that sometimes that person you are correct on your approach, you're correct to have your opinions, but maybe the other person needs more than you, even if you're correct. That's why you have that saying also that everyone wants to be correct is not happy. So sometimes to be happy, you have to allow the other people to think to be correct, to think they are right. Because sometimes you know you are right, but sometimes you have to be quiet with yourself. And Stephen says here to us, prayer to someone is the best example of the second mile. Yes, I agree with Stephen, of course, but that's the thing. A prayer it's something really good. I agree with Stephen, but sometimes there are things that you can do to go even further, and that's what we'll be seeing here now. I have here a few examples uh, of people which I believe they really um, went over not the first mile, not the second, but the third, the fourth, even the 10th mile. Gandhi, Irmã Dulce or Sister Dulce, Martin Luther King, all the three, they were in situations where they were normal amongst people in their society. They weren't the president, they weren't the emperor of their country, they weren't the most rich person, they weren't the most beautiful, they were normal people. But they had one thing in common: they were believing in something, they believed in a cause, they believed that they could do more to help the others. Gandhi, of course, we don't have to say much about Gandhi here. He helped the British to leave his country, India, even if the British were killing, were hurting people, were destroying their culture. He did that without violence. He wasn't perfect. None of them three were perfect, but he did the best he could with silence, with setting an example of love to the others and loving who? Those who were hurting their own people. Perhaps love is just too strong word for this case, but he was able to accept, to understand that they are on a different level than me. Gandhi understood that they weren't evil people. They maybe were ignorant, but not evil. And Gandhi did this. Martin Luther King, for example, the same in the case of America, the case related to races, to race, to against racism in America. Martin Luther, Um, he tried to set an example of non-violence, like Gandhi did, like Jesus did. But he was there saying what he believed was right. So what we are trying to say is, once you are in silence, or once you don't want to fight, it doesn't mean that you cannot say to the world what you believe. But he chose to say that in the non-violent way. He chose to say that using good examples that he had, trying to say to people that's not correct. And again, he didn't see the government of America at that time, the white people who were going against him and hurting his family, hurting all the people that he loved with violence. He, like Gandhi, he knew they are not evil. They are perhaps ignorant. And we have here Imam Dulce, or Sister Dulce from Bahia, someone that a lot of Gandhi and Martin Luther, they are well-known examples around the world, but maybe Sister Dulce is only in Brazil. But again, a normal nun, you know, in Bahia, in the state of Bahia, she did the best she could. And what did she do? She saved so many children. She helped so many children in her state. You know, she started to go and see the poorest children who needed help, you know, and she was giving everything she could to that cause, to that little, to the little ones surround her. Even the church at the time were against what she was doing, because she was really trying to exercise the gospel of Jesus, which is to love one another, to give the best, to exercise the second mile. So she did as much as she could, and she was really small and a really tiny person. And she, Divaldo Franco, who knew her, he used to say that she's a giant in that little tiny body, helping so many people. So all of them, they decided to go and do more um, than what was expecting from them. But as I said, they weren't really important people at the time. They become important in their society because of their actions. And I have here, for our Irish friends who are watching us here, an example which I really admire, you know, about a priest called Hugh O'Flaherty. He was an Irish Catholic priest who saved about 400,000 lives and Jew lives in Rome in the Second World War II. There's a really nice movie called The Scarlet and the Black that you guys can watch even on YouTube. It's a really great movie, explaining about that situation that he went through. But Hugh, or O'Flaherty, he was in Rome at that time, and then the Nazis, they invaded Rome, and he was a Monsignor. Monsignor, please, if I'm not correct, but I believe a Monsignor is more or less like a kind of a lawyer, you know, a really close person of the Pope. And Hugh O'Flaherty, before he went to Rome, before he became a priest, he was in the Eastern Rising. Yes, in the Eastern Rising that we talk too much here in Ireland, you know, in the time of the Troubles, you know, in 1916, 1915, 1919. So when all that fight against the British, all the Irish people, not all, but a lot of Irish people, they were fighting against the British. And he was there. He was fighting against the British. He was a rebel against the British forces. But then he became a priest. So that little violence that perhaps he used, I'm not sure if he used it or not. I don't know 100% of his story, you know, his biography, but probably he was there in that time when he was young. Probably he was, you know, probably he did some violence, but then he stopped once he started to understand the gospel of Jesus. Once he starts to understand that he can do more, you know, without violence. So once he became a priest, once he was in Rome, it was common to people to go to Rome to seek for asylum, to seek for help, because Rome was occupied by the Nazis, but the Vatican, because it is an independent state, the Nazis, they didn't have any power there. So it's quite interesting because the Nazis, they painted a white line in the surroundings of the Vatican. So everything which was after that line, the Nazis could do whatever they wanted. But everything which was before, which was in the realms of the Vatican, the Nazis had no power. So soldiers, British soldiers, Jewish people from Rome or from other places, they came there to the Vatican, and they tried to talk to the Pope or tried to talk to someone. And the Swiss guard, they said, we can't do anything for you, but that man, he can. So they were pointing to him. And then that priest, Hugh Flaherty, he created a group of people, with other priests, with nuns, with normal people of the society, and he started to save a lot of soldiers, who are going there, Jewish people, and he started to save a lot of British soldiers. That's when things start to get a bit interesting here, because probably in his heart he had that hard feeling against the British people, because they killed probably someone in his family, you know, they killed friends of him. They were trying to destroy his country, to occupy Ireland for over 400 years, if I'm not mistaken. But even though he helped that soldiers, and then he was helping, he started to help one, two, three, and then as they start to realize, hey, what's going on? Why is that man always there at St. Peter's Square? And people that get close to him, and they start to realize that actually he was saving that people. So he created this organization with simple people like him, and it started to help. Then the numbers start to grow, start to grow, and the Nazi, a colonel, I forgot his name, but he started to realize that the main head of this organization was Hugh. So he started to find ways to try to kill him. And then, when the Allied forces they invaded Italy, so they were so the British, the French, the Americans, Canadians, they were taking Rome. Then, as they realized that, okay, it's time to go, there is nothing we can do here. So they start to run away. But of course, they killed many, many people there in Rome, because this priest, he couldn't save everyone. So after all this killing, after they start to run away, a night before, this colonel comes to Hugh Flaherty and say to him, if you really believe in everything that that man Jesus said to you, not to you, said in the Bible, if you believe in everything that your church preach, you're gonna save my family, because my family, they are innocent. I'm the one who is doing this, but my wife and my children, they are innocent. Save them, please. Help them to get away from Rome, because if they stay in Rome, the Italian people who were there against the Nazi, they were going to probably kill his family. They were going to kill all the Nazis they could. You know, and Hero Flaherty was annoyed and said, how come now you killed so many people? You killed my friend, my priest friends. You tortured so many people. You tried to kill me. Now you ask me to save your family. And he said, are you crazy or what? And that German colonel said, okay, you see, you are like everyone else. You just say things with your words, with your mouth. You just say beautiful words, but you don't really live what you preach. And was really annoyed, because he was asking for help for his family, but no help for all the ones who were still, probably being killed, were going to be killed by the Nazis. And he left. And that colonel, German colonel, really was disappointed. But at the same time, he had this in mind, that everyone is the same. But that colonel was captured by the Allied forces, and then he discovered that actually his family was saved by Hero Flaherty. So Hero Flaherty, despite of his hard feelings against that man, because that man tried to kill him, kill the priests that were friends of him, he helped them. That German colonel was put in jail, and for 10 years, only one person could visit him, which was who was Hugh of Flaherty. That priest, for 10 years, he went to him all the time, once per month, and tried to talk to him, tried to bring to him new ideas. In the beginning, that colonel, he didn't. He was happy because of what he did for his family, but he didn't really appreciate. But 10 years later, after Hugh of Flaherty went in the second mile, in the third, in the fourth, in the 10th, in the whatever 15th mile, that German heart was touched, and he asked for forgiveness. He knew what he did, His wish for forgiveness wouldn't clear what he did, but at least he realized that he was wrong. And Hugh of Larret baptized him. According to history, as long as I know, that German colonel died after a while, and that they were keeping touch until the end of his death. So Hugh of Larret, he had to go against everything, you know, all the beliefs, that all that hard feelings he had before against the British and then against this German colonel, to save, to really practice the second mile. So he had to leave his um, pride behind and just do what was correct, what was in the gospel, what Jesus told him, not told him, but told everyone, all of us, to do it. But then we have here Emmanuel bringing this beautiful part, beautiful paragraph, when he says, "We will not regenerate the criminal by tormenting the intimate field with verbal lashes. We will not correct those who lost their path by force, humiliating impositions, and we will not win the curative trust for the patient, depending on his own deepening on his own wounds. So William Flagg knew that he wouldn't regenerate that German colonel, forcing him to believe. He knew that that German colonel needed time, needed example, and that's what he gave. He gave examples. He didn't force. He didn't try to humiliate. He didn't try to go there in his wounds and put his finger. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna try my best." He gave time, he gave patience, he gave examples, he gave his silence sometimes to try to change that one heart only. Of course, he saved many, many thousands of people, not 4,000 people at least, but even more. But he was trying to recover that one heart. And then Emmanuel keeps saying, "Reach out your hands to those who have fallen. Learn to come down to the same level of them to help." So go there, reach out to those who have fallen, like Hero Authority did with that German colonel. Go to them, not them, do not leave them alone. Go in the same level to them. That's what Jesus came once he came to earth. He came and stayed in the same level like us. He was walking with the apostles, with simple people, and he was, according to what we believe in Spiritism, the greatest spirit ever here on earth. So he didn't have to act like a simple Jew in that time, but that's what he did. He went to the same level, and Emmanuel keeps going, and then your voice will be conveniently heard because you have walked for the benefit of the ignorant, weak, disturbed, and suffering companion. That's the second mile of the eternal lessons of light. So Emmanuel says to us that once we do this, we try to put ourselves in the same level. We don't torment, we don't force the other one to believe in what we believe. We don't force anyone to be who we are. We don't force anyone to believe in spiritism or anything like this, because we're not trying to do here this. We are trying to talk about spiritism, but not forcing anyone. Whoever is watching here now, if you guys don't believe this, that's fine. That is no problem. But once you are trying to do this, at least you are in the good path. So once you are trying to do these kind of things, then we are reaching, we are maybe getting close to the second mile. But then we have a problem, a huge problem of my speech. I even want to take some water, which is here I presented these three great people in history. Here, another one. Again, they were simple people, but they did, you know, so much wonders with what they had. How about us? Sometimes we go and may ask, how about us? Can we walk the second mile? Can you do the same? And then perhaps uh, I have this. I took my screen. I should take it. There we are. So that's why I'm gonna be asking this question here. Where and when can we exercise the second mile? And I have this beautiful picture of Dublin, a city which I love with all my heart, which many of us here, I know we love them too because it's our house now. It's our home, not our house. Our home is the place that at least myself and at least here, a few friends here, they treat, I'd say, Stephen, Patricia, everyone here, as the same for Rodolfo now in Portugal. We treat that this place, Dublin, Rodolfo in Portugal, as our home because it's the place who helped us, who received us with open arms. That's why I have this beautiful picture. So, where and when can we exercise this? And it's quite simply, the reply is quite simple in everyday life. That's why I have this the seat behind. You can do that anywhere. Do you have to go there and save all the homeless people in the streets of Dublin? Do you have to go there and try to find the cure of COVID 19? You have to go back to Brazil and save all the poor people. You have to go and stop all the abuses which women still suffering in Brazil, in Africa, in many places of the world. If you can, please do it. But most of us, we can't yet. We can't achieve these huge things yet. But we can do small things. That's what I was saying. That's what Stephen said, to pray or to act in a really simple way. If you're walking on the street, don't throw rubbish on the street. I know a lot of people here. I hope no one here does that. If you even feel smoke, guys, I don't smoke myself, I'm not condemning, but don't throw the leftovers of your cigarette on the street. Go there and throw in the correct place. If you are taking the Lewis, pay for it. Doesn't matter if it's one station or two stations. If you can, stay at home at the COVID. I'm giving examples here, which they are quite small. And again, I'm trying to not trying to offend or point any finger to anyone here. But what I'm trying to say here is simply that we can do our part, even if that part seems to be quite small. Remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. Great things, they don't happen really from nothing. Takes time. Takes time to us to understand, you know, the mistakes that we used to commit before in the past and change our ways to live. Takes time to see that person that we live together, and instead of when that person says to you something that really annoys you, to don't reply back. Takes time for us once we have the chance of take advantage of some situation to don't do it. Takes time to forgive, or not maybe to forgive yet, but to understand that maybe someone, when someone shouts at us or when someone is really being annoyed with us, that maybe that person is having a difficult day, a bad day. Does that person has the right, because that person is having a bad day, to throw all their anger on us? No. But again, we can only um, be responsible for our acts, for our words, for our actions, for our words. We're not responsible for the other. So if someone goes there and do something against you, you cannot say, "Oh, I had to defend myself. That's why I hit back." No, you hit back because you wanted. Maybe that person hit you, and then you found that you believed still that you go there, you can uh, exercise your right to give back to that person. But that's what was Jesus trying to fight. And he still, because he said that the lesson of the second mile 2000 years ago, but we still haven't learned that. When I mean we, I believe that at least 97% of the entire population on earth, we still haven't really learned this lesson. We still haven't learned the lesson of not giving back what someone gives to us. Maybe we are not like some dictator. Maybe we are not like a killer, a serial killer, or a killer, or some robber, who really does these kind of things. But uh, most of us, we still are giving back in the same way, even in small portions, in simple situations. We are still giving back. We still are revenging ourselves. We are still not able to do this. That's why this topic, at least for me, I spoke about this topic other times before, but at least touched my heart because I find myself in this situation where sometimes I don't do what I should do. I don't do anything extra. I don't do even what I should do, as I said. But when I have the chance of doing something extra, I don't. And then I ask myself, is it what really I preach on Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever? Is it what I preach, to people about spiritism? Am I doing this? Am I really following what I preach? And it's sad to say, I'm not 100%. Even if I try, but then I go again and I still do what I shouldn't have done. And that's what we always do. That's why it's an exercise. It's an exercise. Once you can go and do more. If you can do once, you can do a really simple thing today to someone, you know, that even if, as I said, you believe that person is wrong, try to do it. Try to go to this, not second mile, second millimeter, but try it because a second mile is done by millimeters, by centimeters, is done step by step. So this beautiful lesson is an invitation for us to rethink: Am I doing what I am I doing everything I can in my power in this situation now to help people regarding to the COVID-19, or am I doing everything I can do when I'm dealing with people who live with me, flatmate, wife, husband, partner, whatever? Am I doing everything I can? You don't have to reply here in the comments, please. No, don't. But I know I'm not. But let's rethink about this parable and let's try to do. Um I think normally I talk quite a lot, but today I think I finish most of everything that I have to say. But if you guys wanna have any comments here, or if you guys have any questions, we still have a few minutes to go. While if you guys want, but before while you guys are, if you guys wanna write something, I'm gonna leave some information here, guys. Um, so first, if you are having a difficult time at the moment, you know, and if you need some psychological help, that's not a spiritual help, by the way. That's a psychological help where psychologists um, they can try to arrange, a section to talk with you. So you have to send an email to this email. I'm gonna write this email here, the comments, and you guys can reach out to them if you guys need any help. Okay, they're not related to us, to the spiritual side of Ireland. They're not related to spiritism. They are simply psychologists who are trying to support people in the time of the COVID. Okay, I'm not sure how long it's gonna take for them to reply. I'm not sure about their availability, but the email is there. You guys can reach out to them. Okay. Also, if you guys, especially this time now of the COVID, the winter is coming, is difficult. If you guys believe that you guys need some kind of psychological support, most, but more related to mental health, psychological support is related to mental health. But still, I have this link here. I'm gonna leave the comment there. I'm gonna leave the email in the comments, which is mentalhealthisland.ie. You guys can reach out to them also. Okay, comments. Hey, are also for um, we have here, for those who doesn't know, we have our studies group every Wednesday. This studies group is done via Zoom. So you guys have to send an email to us to spiritismisland@gmail.com. Once you guys send an email to us, Tanya or Nate, they will reply to you, give the Zoom link. With the Zoom link, you guys will have access to join this study, which is starts at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. Everything is done in English, and you guys don't need any background related to spiritism. You guys don't need any previous knowledge. You just goes there with an open heart, and they will run the studies. They are reading questions from the spirit's book at the moment. Uh, so you guys, once they read the question, you guys discuss it. So it's not like today, which is one person talking on. It's people they are talking among each other there. They are exchanging their opinions about the question. Okay. Also, guys, do not miss that we have these lives every Thursday and Thursday and every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7:15, and every Sunday at 11:15. We have some events which is gonna come soon. I don't have the information here, but it will be posted in the Spiritual Society of Ireland Facebook page. Stephen will give the information to me. I'm gonna post there, but there will be some event related to connected with the British Spiritist Association and the guys from America from Kardec Radio who are supporting us. I don't have much information here by head, but that's more or less what's going to be coming soon. Okay, so guys, today I think I don't have much. I don't have any more to say. So there is no point of stay here until quarter past 12. But guys, thank you very much for your time here, guys. Um, Thank you for this support that you guys are giving to us. Please forgive if I said something here that you guys disagree, but I try to only use the works of Allan Kardec and the Gospel of Jesus as my basis, as my references. And if I missed something or if I perhaps said something wrong, guys, again, please forgive me. You guys are more than welcome to give your feedback and your opinion. Okay, so we're gonna thank you, Ka. Uh, so we're gonna do our final prayer, and just 1 second. Here. Thank you, Cassia. So I would like to again to ask you guys if you guys feel comfortable to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Dear Master Jesus, mentors of the group, would like to thank for this opportunity here once again. The opportunity to be talking about Spiritism in Ireland, the opportunity to be talking in English, even with all mistakes that we commit, that we make. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity. Also, I would like to ask all the good spirits, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, the great doctor, who supports not only Brazil but all the spiritists in Ireland, all Brazilians everywhere, supports everyone, not only Brazilians, but this the great doctor who are supporting, who is supporting us here today. Would like to ask him to improve the health of those who are suffering regarding to the COVID-19, to improve the strength of those who are working in order to help as many lives as they can, doctors, policemen, researchers related to the vaccine of the COVID-19. But also, today especially, I would like to ask the vibration of Mary, Mary the Mother of Jesus, who in the Spiritist traditions We believe she is the greatest spirit who supports all the suicidals. So we'd like to ask the workers of Maria, Maria herself, to support those who are thinking about suicide, those who have these thoughts in their mind. Please enlighten their hearts and their minds, their spirits, to do not commit this action, which perhaps they don't know, but it's going to impact their future life in an immense way. Let's ask the heart of Maria, the heart of a mother, to support anyone who has committed suicide recently. As a mother, I'm sure that she's going to put each one, each suicide around the world in her arms, to support, to console them. Let's ask for her love. And let's ask the good spirits to make these brothers who have committed suicide to understand that their pain will pass, that this difficult time they might be facing in the spiritual world will pass. Let's hope that their hearts will understand this lesson soon, and we understand that Jesus said to us that none of the sheep that the Father gave to him would be lost. I always say this because this phrase really touched my heart. Because when Jesus said that, he said that everyone, those who committed suicide, criminals, rapists, dictators, the worst, the people, the most ignorant people who ever lived on earth, who committed the most atrocities, everyone, they will be, they will receive support and guidance in their own time, so they're not to be forgotten. So for the suicidals, there is someone here which I'm not gonna say the name. She's someone related to one of the workers of the Spiritual Society of Ireland. I hope that I'm saying her name here in my mind, just related to privacy. I'm not gonna say her name, but I hope that she will find good mentors, good spirit in the spiritual world to support her and guide her, and also to guide all the families who are related to suicidals, because the suicidal is suffering, but their families will still be suffering here on earth also. So let's pray for the heart of Mary and Jesus to support them. Thank God, and so be it, and may all the spirits who are suffering find comfort and light. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time here. Thanks for the kind words here on the comments. So I see you guys probably on Tuesday or Thursday. Uh, Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the Sunday. Take care. Bye bye.